All right, well, good evening to those of you who are joining us. We will just hold tight for a few minutes while we expect a few more people to join, and then we'll get going. I'll go ahead and get the slides queued up, and we'll start in about 2 minutes or so. So again, another warm welcome to those of you who are joining. We will get started in about 1 minute. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. We are also recording, and it's my understanding that those of you who've registered and are attending should also receive a link to a copy of the recording afterwards, and we'll work to get that uploaded either to the SDoL website or the YouTube channel as well, so that anyone that isn't able to attend will get access to this information. But again, we'll just give it till 6, about 1 more minute, and then we'll get started. Thank you. All right, well then we will get started. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening. My name is Phil Jago. I'm the coordinator of College and Career Services for the School District of Lancaster. And we're here this evening to talk about all the various dual enrollment opportunities that are available to students in SDoL. I'm really thankful, privileged to be joined with some of our local college partners this evening. I'll let them introduce themselves a little bit more as they get to their piece of the presentation. But we're joined by Megan Dankors from Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology, Ashton Fucci from St. Joseph's University, formerly PA College of Health Sciences, Abdurrahim Kachtu from HAC, Harrisburg Area Community College, Joni Klopp from Millersville University, and Justin Phillips from Pennsylvania College of Art and Design. Again, I'm Phil from the district. So thank you to those of you who are joining us to talk about what your university or college has to offer this evening. The agenda is pretty straightforward. I'll speak for a few slides and explain really what dual enrollment is for any of you who are unfamiliar or are new to that term. We'll talk about what the requirements are from the student side and who's eligible. Explain the timeline a little bit, and each college I think will probably have a few words to say about that too for their respective requirements. I'll touch briefly on some on-campus opportunities that we have that are different from the more traditional offerings that our partners are going to talk about. And then, like I said, I'll let the higher ed partners say their piece. Q&A, we will have time for that at the end. There is also the Q&A function in the webinar is active. So as attendees, you can submit questions to that, and I'll try and get to those as we go along if I can, or feel free to save them to the end. So what is dual enrollment, and why do we think it's something that we prioritize here in the district for our students? Pretty self-explanatory in terms of the name. You are dually enrolled, so enrolled in at the same time in both McCaskey High School or a cyber program. And you're also taking class at one of our local colleges, so you're enrolled at that college as a student as well. As to the why, every student can be slightly different. So some students that have a specific goal in mind. When I think about students who are already trying to take classes at PCAT because they're interested in art school, or certainly early enrollment at Thaddeus Stevens that I'll let Megan speak to. Some students are looking for a class that we don't have at McCaskey. We offer a wide range of elective classes and advanced courses and APs and IBs. But there are some things we don't have that maybe our local college partners do, and some students are looking for that. Some students are already thinking about, what's the biggest bang for their buck in terms of college credits that they can transfer and articulate on when they finish their time at SDoL. And some students are just looking to challenge themselves or study something that they're really interested about. So there's really no bad reason to take a dual enrollment class. There's lots of different reasons it's a good idea. And as I said, each student is a little bit different. So the guidelines from the SDoL side of the table, we require students have a 2.5 unweighted grade point average. If it's a little below that, there may be a reason for that. Then a special approval may be granted by the campus administration. Worth noting, some of our colleges do require a GPA higher than a 2.5, respectively. So I'll let them speak to any individual requirements that they may have. Our current board policy covers SDoL paying for one class in the fall semester and one class in the spring for each year that the student is eligible. And typically students start taking those classes in 11th grade. We have had some students start dual enrollment classes earlier in the 10th grade. The really important thing is the class must fit within a student's high school schedule. Certainly, I know that our school counselors right now are really busy with course selection for next year. So if you are thinking about a college class, I would encourage you to include that in your conversation with your school counselor if you haven't spoke to them yet. There are classes that are evenings, and there are classes that are online, and even, I believe, some asynchronous options. So there's flexibility within that. But many students do take a class during the day, as long as it fits within their schedule. So certainly our 12th grade, our senior students who may have a little bit more flexibility in their schedule could register for an on-campus class if available. There's a note there, classes that overlap with high school classes require permission of the affected teacher. So we do have students that, due to the scheduling, may come back to campus and miss, say, the first 10 minutes of the following class. And that's something that they would work out on an individual basis with the teacher. In terms of the timeline, and again, I think I'll let some of our college partners speak to any specific deadlines that they have. For fall classes, typically students are seeking those out and registering during the latter part of the spring. And for the spring classes, students are looking for those in the fall. So any student who's thinking about a fall class, most of those registrations open up soon in the next month or two. So again, as long as you're in touch with your school counselor and getting the ball rolling and starting the process, then now is the perfect time to really start doing your research. And you can work with the Future Ready team as well in either building at East or JP to get some idea of what classes might be a good fit for you. There is an application that students have to fill out. You can see here the link is on the screen and the QR code takes you to the same place. It's really important that you do that, and I'll explain that on the next slide. But for obvious reasons, it's important that we know who's taking classes, and so we can track that. If approved, then the support will be available through your school counselor or through the Future Ready team to help navigate the process with each college and register for the class. And then your school counselor will add that class to your schedule for that semester, or half year, so to speak. Some of the details. So this is the thing that I think I'm so proud of, to work in a district that prioritizes this and understands the benefit of making this as accessible as possible. School District of Lancaster, to my knowledge, and any of the college partners can correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, we're the only school district in the county that pays for college classes for students. SDoL will cover tuition, fees, books, and in some cases supplies as well, to go towards those classes at 100% of the cost. It's something, as again, we're very proud of. The things that we don't cover, and it will be difficult to cover for every single student, transportation. And again, this comes back to the scheduling piece and meeting with the school counselor to discuss. We do have a bus that goes to HAC's campus. It leaves every morning to be there in time for an 8 o'clock class, so that may be something to consider. But outside of that, it is the responsibility of the student or their family to figure out transportation. So again, it may be worth looking at some of those online options or those virtual options. SDoL will not cover more than one class per semester per the board policy. However, if you have time in your schedule or your family is able to cover the cost of an additional class, you certainly can. I think most of our partners will cap you at 2 classes, just given the fact that you're a high school student and have lots of competing priorities and your high school classes to think about. But we have had students successfully take 2 classes in a semester, SDoL paying for one of them. The other thing we won't do is won't allow a student to repeat and take a class again if they failed it. But as far as I've been in this position, I don't think that's happened so far. We have a pretty good success rate with our students taking dual enrollment classes. Some other things to think about, and I'm sure our college partners again will touch on some of this, just some general advice. It's really worth doing the research. And where I say look at the big picture, the understanding is that dual enrollment is not for every student. If you're a student who's planning to load up on the IB diploma or you're taking a ton of AP classes, number one, those are also a fine way to earn college credits, and there's different ways that you can do that with the diploma or with AP exams. But it also may not be, you don't want to put yourself through extra pressure of taking a college class on top of a demanding high school schedule. There's no one right way to do this. Every student is slightly different. But if you are someone who's taking the entire IB diploma slate of classes, dual enrollment may be challenging to fit into your schedule. Likewise, if you're into athletics or music, you have to think about what works for you, what works for your schedule, your timetable, your family, and maintain a work-life balance. Because speaking as an adult, it only gets harder to do that. So as a high school student, it's really important to not burn yourself out. But I'm confident that we have lots of opportunities for you to find something that fits with your schedule and your workload. And then just a second plug for please following that SDoL process, doing the application, making sure that it's registered with your school counselor that this is happening, purely for the reason that we don't want you to get a bill or be confused, or the college send you a bill, and then if you don't pay it but we didn't know about it, there's a chance you may get dropped from that class, and it could be a struggle to re-register you in time, and you may lose your seat. So as long as we are in communication every step of the way, and we know that a student's taking that class, then we communicate with each of our respective colleges and let them know who's taking what classes, and they'll reconcile that with their records, and the bills get sent straight to the school district and not to the student or their family. So communication and following the process is obviously important as we go through. Very quickly, because I realize that I'm already waffling, taking people's time away. So let me go quickly. We do have some sort of slightly non-traditional, some on-campus opportunities. College in the high school is a great partnership we offer through Thaddeus Stevens. Juniors and seniors in some of our McCaskey classes can actually earn a credit through Thaddeus Stevens, an equivalent credit. So taking and sitting the exam for the classes that you see listed on the screen here, students have to pass the class and then also sit any required exam. And the students will earn an equivalent credit in an aligned course through Thaddeus Stevens. Those are transferable to other colleges as well as Thaddeus Stevens. And we've had over 100 students this year take advantage of that, which again is a really awesome way to earn college credits that will transfer and save you money in the future just by sitting and doing well in a class right here at McCaskey. So I definitely encourage you, if you are taking any of these classes listed on the screen as a junior or senior, make sure that when we come around with that paperwork for college and high school that you're filling it out. We also have a great program, a partnership with HAC, called the HAC Bridge program. This is a program that lives within our English department, our CA class. So instead of taking regular 12th grade English, students take an adapted version of HAC's foundational English course from August to December. If students do well and pass that class between August and December, they have a number of benefits. One, that counts as their CA12, their 12th grade English credit for graduation. It also opens them up to take either English 101 with Hack in the spring or Hack's College Success Seminar FS 100. If for some reason students are not successful in that class, they can still drop down to a CA12 and still earn their senior English credit to graduate. Obviously, that's super important. But it's a really useful way for students to push themselves and test themselves against college level rigor in English, which can be a shock when students move from high school to college. So the idea of the bridge program is to bridge that gap. And again, if that's something you're interested in, if you're a junior right now, and you're starting to pick your courses for next year, talk to your school counselor about the Hack Bridge program. One exception to our fall and spring dual enrollment offerings that we have is we do usually have a one section of English 101 at Hack offered every summer. This is taught by Dr. Brian McDonald, who is an administrator here at the school district. He's the coordinator for IB and AP programs and also adjunct professor at Hack. This is a great way, if you're eligible, again, to take care of your senior English credit ahead of time before your senior year. So your schedule could be open for some other opportunities or some electives or perhaps another college class. So again, if that's something that interests you, it's taught remotely in the middle of the summer, sort of mid-June to early August. And if that's something that interests you, again, definitely reach out to your school counselor because registration for that class will be opening up very soon. All right. I'm happy to say that my talking is done, and I'm going to pass off to each of our college partners to talk about specific opportunities they offer. So with that, I'll hand over to Megan from Thaddeus-Stevens.
Thanks, Phil, and good evening, everyone. I'm Megan Dancause from Thaddeus-Stevens College of Technology. I serve as the Director of Admissions there, but more importantly, oversee our early enrollment program. So this is a unique opportunity, and we kind of want to break it down first of what exactly is it. So early enrollment, if you break down the term, you're enrolling an entire year early. So senior year, the full senior year, is freshman year of college. So all of the classes are taken at Thaddeus-Stevens. So a little bit different than dual enrollment in that it is a full course load. So you're able to apply directly into one of our programs of study. And then per the agreement with the school district, we will provide you with your academic requirements to receive your SDoL diploma, but you take those classes with us still. So if it's an English, if it's a humanities, if it's a math, whatever it may be, you still meet that requirement, but you take it at Stevens. So you are taking a full course load. Stevens serves as your home base for your day, your week, your semester, and your entire year. So it is a unique learning opportunity, and you work that process a year early. So you would apply during junior year to attend during senior year. You can flip now, Phil, you're good. So these are a variety of options. We have about 25 different programs. So we are a College of Technology. So I'm not going to read these all off to you. We'll pause on each slide and Phil can move through them. But we do not offer undecided. So we do not offer double major or major and minor. You're not going to see an English major at Stevens. So we are rooted in technical and trades. So when a student decides to apply to Stevens in general, but also to early enrollment, you need to apply directly into a major of study. So if you are on the fence or if you have multiple areas of interest, we do ask you to do a little bit more research on the front end prior to applying, because your early enrollment application is going to be evaluated against one of these programs. We hold spots in each program for early enrollers, so we pad the numbers a bit. So it's even more important that if you are applying into mechanical engineering, that is something you are looking to pursue on a pretty serious note. So that way I'm able to review your application as it meets those mechanical engineering standards or welding standards, whatever it may be. So you do need to apply directly into a program of study. You are able to apply to any of our technical programs. Should you get accepted, you would obviously enroll into those technical courses, and then we would work with your counselor specifically to identify what academic classes, we call them general education courses at Stevens, that you would need to satisfy your McCaskey requirements to receive your SDoL diploma. You can move to the next slide, Phil. So cost and financial aid. So for SDoL students, this is a huge incentive to pursue early enrollment. So our standard tuition, let's say you were applying as a high school senior to come after you graduate, is $9,000 for the year. What we do for early enrollment tuition is we reduce it by 50%. So the early enrollment tuition is currently $4,500 for the year. But as Phil was saying, for our SDoL students, there is no cost to attend. So your tuition is covered, your textbooks are covered, your tools are covered. There are some fees. So for example, if you want to have a vehicle on campus, which you're able to do so as an early enroller, you would be, as a student, responsible for your parking permit, which is $15 for the year. But in terms of your overall large cost to attendance, tuition is covered, tools are covered, and textbooks are covered as an SDoL student. Go ahead, Phil. So the application process is a little bit more, I would say, intensive in the sense that there's more things to submit. So our application is open now for any current juniors, and it will open in September for future terms. So we work everything a year prior. So it's open now for juniors to attend in fall of 24. It will open in September for those juniors to attend in fall of 25. The deadline to submit all of the materials and complete testing is going to be March 1st. So there is a hard deadline there. Go ahead, Phil. What we require to submit is an online application. You do not have to pay the application fee. We have a waiver code for our early enrollers. 2 reference forms from a teacher of your choosing and from your guidance counselor. And then a high school transcript. We require that 2.5 or higher GPA to be considered for this particular opportunity. It does not need to be a teacher in the field of which you're looking to pursue with us. I would much rather prefer to see a teacher who can really attest to you as a student, as an individual in their classroom, your character, than just a random teacher that you've had for a couple of weeks because you think it would look better to have it from a specific subject area as it relates to what you're applying for. I'd rather it be a teacher that can attest to you as a student and your character over that. Go ahead, Phil. So if there's additional questions, because I wanted to make sure we had enough time for all of our partners to cover all of their amazing opportunities, you can reach out to me directly. There are a lot of interesting nuances about this particular experience because it is that full senior year option as opposed to 1 or 2 courses. Your major takeaways is you're able to apply directly into any of our programs of study. It is a full day, full year experience where you would not report to McCaskey at any point during your school day or school year. So you would follow our schedule in its entirety. There is no cost to attend as an early enroller with the exception of maybe a parking permit or an activity fee. The application opens in September, closes March 1st, and it's really important to know what it is that you'd like to pursue prior to applying because essentially you're declaring your major the moment that you put in that application. So feel free to drop questions in the Q&A as our other presenters are moving forward. You have my email there. Please reach out. We've heard, and this is a plug for any of the partners. We've heard every question. I can guarantee we're going to hear it again. So please don't feel ashamed or silly to ask a question. That's why we do what we do, and we're happy to support you in kind of your next step with all of these opportunities. So thank you so much for your attention, Phil. You can turn it over to our next partner.
Thank you so much, Megan. And yeah, I will confirm we have 5 students this year who are early enrollers. They are high school seniors who are getting the jump on everyone else. They're most of the way through or halfway through their first year of college, and it really is a special partnership. So thank you to Megan, and we will pass over to Ashton from the newly minted Lancaster campus of St. Joseph's University.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashton Fucci. I am the Associate Director of Enrollment Relations at St. Joe's Lancaster. Part of my work is working with high school dual enrollment students. So if you do apply, you would be working with me. So like Phil mentioned, most of you probably know us as Pennsylvania College of Health Sciences. As of January 3rd, we did merge with St. Joe's University out of Philadelphia. We are specifically the healthcare campus yet. So all of our programs on campus, as I'll show you, are still healthcare focused. Even our gen eds are still, our general education courses are still kind of healthcare science focused, which is neat if you're interested in that. Of course, you don't have to be interested in healthcare to take courses with us. We still have some general ones, as I'll show you. But yeah, so at least for high school dual enrollment, it is specific to our Lancaster campus location. So you would just be taking courses with our location, attending our location. So this is available to juniors and seniors. Our minimum admissions requirements listed here, 2.5 is the same as, of course, McCaskey. We also look for 2 specific courses. That'll be Algebra 2, which at McCaskey, I know it's honors advanced algebra, so just kind of connect the dots there with the C minimum. And then we want to see that you've taken biology with a lab with a C minimum. If you're still in those courses at the time you're applying, maybe we'll just ask for a current transcript. It is a free application, very simple, a quick form, which I'll go through in a little bit. Cost, of course, now School District of Lancaster is covering 1 course per semester. Any additional, if you do an additional class, you would get 50% off the normal tuition rate. You can take more, then it would just be full price. So we can always have that conversation. There are some additional benefits though, if you do decide to continue into a program with us. Of course, you don't have to, but after high school, there are some additional like financial benefits for moving into a program. We would waive your application fee. And we also sometimes offer a summer course for specifically high school students. I will say this summer, it's normally medical terminology. This summer, because of the merger, we're not offering it, but we're looking to at least offer it next year. So stay tuned for that if you are interested. I'm sure most of the students on this call, it would still apply to you. So we can go to the next slide. All right, so this is a kind of a summary of all the course options that we offer to high school dual enrollment students. As you'll see, there's a mix of, bold, italicized, whatever. So our bold courses you can take online. So you don't have to come to campus. Most of them are asynchronous, so it's not like you have to log in for a specific time. You can essentially, as long as you're meeting the assignments on time, you can attend class kind of at your own pace in that sense. We also offer some evening options for these courses. So if you want to do it in person, some are during the day, some are during the evening. So especially if you need more of a flexible scheduling option. So some of them you'll see do have prerequisites. And if you're interested in those, of course, we can have that conversation. I would let you know what they are. If you're not sure what you're interested in taking, but if you have a specific program you might be interested in going into, we would tailor the courses that we would recommend based on the program of interest. That way you're not just taking random ones. But of course, you can also take some for fun as well. Next slide. Okay, so mention the application process is very simple. So you would just go to our main website, which is now www.sju.edu/Lancaster. So that's how you get to our specific application for Lancaster. Click apply. This code will waive the application fee. It's in all capital letters, SDoL24. So make sure to take a picture, write that down. If not, you can always reach out to us and we can get that to you. And then you would just have your counselor email your transcripts to us directly at the Lancaster admin at sju.edu. You can also send any questions that way. You can ask for me either way. So that's all it is the form and then sending the transcript. Okay, so after high school dual enrollment, we do have other options for like different career paths, different majors. So if you're interested in continuing into a program, like I said, we can kind of focus your courses based on your program of interest, which I think is really nice. But this is just to kind of show all of the Lancaster-based programs that we are offering. And these are the same as Pennsylvania College of Health Sciences, just as a heads up. Of course, there are some more at the Philadelphia campus, and I know we're working on now like how our classes at Lancaster are going to transfer to the Philadelphia location and campus. So we're also happy to kind of discuss that as well. And something I didn't note kind of on my slides, we do rolling admissions. So honestly, as soon as you're thinking of moving into dual enrollment, feel free to reach out, apply. Once you're finished, I'd say maybe end of sophomore year. If you want to look for a junior year, you can apply then. But we can pretty much review pretty last minute as long as there's spaces in the classes. So just as a heads up, but I would say apply in the spring for fall or in the fall for spring is a good kind kind of idea to apply for. And then also I wanted to note, as a high school enrollment student, you do have access to all of our resources. So that includes included/free tutoring, help with study skills, test taking skills, the gym on campus, things like that. But I didn't make a slide with my contact, but I'll put it in the chat as well, just in case you guys have any specific questions moving forward. But thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much, Ashton. And we will keep it moving here, and we'll hand over to Abdurrahim, who is from HAC, Harrisburg Area Community College.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us tonight. I am Abdurrahim Karshtu, one of the admissions counselors at HAC. We have 5 campuses. I am working off the Lancaster campus, and I will be giving you basically a brief overview of HAC's dual enrollment options and how we can help you get started. Next. So I think we need to get to start from the beginning, Phil. So basically, I will just go over dual enrollment. Phil already explained what dual enrollment is. And for HAC, basically, it is available for juniors and seniors. And it is a great way for students to get ahead and to get started and be introduced to the college experience. So you can earn college credits while in high school. And then the goal is to transfer or stay on at HAC and complete your associate's degree. The beauty of the dual enrollment at HAC is basically you can get credit, you can earn credits at the end of the day. If you decided you do not want to go to HAC, you want to transfer elsewhere, you can do that as well. You earn those college credits, you can transfer them anywhere. And the transfer, we have a lot of transfer partners, as you can see on the slide. So we have the PASHE schools. So Millersville University is with us tonight. They're great, they're amazing. So you can always come to HAC, complete your associate's degree, and then transfer to them. But you can transfer to non-PASHE schools like Penn State or Temple University. If you want to transfer outside of the state, we have success coaches, we have transfer department who can help you transfer smoothly. Next. So we recognize that college is an investment, personally and financially, and McCaskey really helps really well to actually elevate the burden, the financial burden out of dual enrollment. They are the only school that I'm aware of, at least for all the dual enrollments that we actually get, that fund one course during the fall semester, and one for the spring semester, which is great because typically dual enrollment students will take 1 or 2 classes per semester. But as you can see from this chart, we offer dual enrollment at a reduced rate of $175 per credit. That's usually half of what regular students pay for the same course. So before you can actually start how you can do this, the question really that a lot of students are asking, or they should be aware of, is what is the time commitment? It really depends on the class that you are taking and the learning style that you have. However, you really have to dedicate about 10 hours per week for a 3-credit course. So that's 1 college course. You are doing a lot of work outside of the classroom. That can be more or less, depends on the type of the class you are taking. For instance, if you are taking a science class with a lab, that's an additional credit. So that's an additional work that you need to do outside of the classroom. So ultimately, you understand your learning preferences best, and it's crucial to recognize that this is a college level course. And for those of you who are active in and out of school, you can still do dual enrollment. However, you need to be aware of the timing and balancing of your additional activities and high school courses. So if you are asking how many credits or classes you can take at HAC as a dual enrollment, we really don't have a cap on that. So you can take as many as you want. However, that conversation needs to start with your guidance counselor. They know you better. They know your high school schedule. So you will need, of course, you need to sign up for classes, college classes, but also you want to succeed in college. You do not want to take like 2 or 3 classes, and then you have a full schedule in high school. That's just something that the guidance counselor might not advise. We have success coaches who will work with you closely as well. They will advise and see exactly how many college classes you can actually handle successfully. So here is a glimpse of some of the services we offer. I really wanted to share this slide for a reason, because a lot of dual enrollment actually take classes online or via Zoom. So we actually offer free tutoring and writing lab, and library services are all online via Zoom as well. So we will have a weekly schedule. You would know who tutors what subject, what time, and what format. Either you can go to the campus, or you can just click on a Zoom link and get the help you need. So how the heck do I start? That's the big question, I guess. So it's really straightforward. All you need to do is go to hack.edu and then basically click on apply. The application is for free, and you will need to create the application profile and then select dual enrollment application. So you will have a list of application types. You will see transfer, international, general. You need dual enrollment application. Also, when you choose your major or program of study, it has to be dual enrollment as well, because you cannot declare a major while in high school. And then once you submit your application online, you will receive a thank you email immediately. And that email will actually contain a link to the signature page. That signature page, you need to sign, and your parents or legal guardians need to sign and submit it to your guidance counselor. And then your guidance counselor will actually sign it and submit it to HAC with your high school transcript. If you have PSAT or SAT or ACT scores, you can upload them, you can email them to us, but they are not required. However, for those of you who want to participate in dual enrollment and your GPA is lower than 3.0, you will actually need to take the placement testing. And the placement testing can be done online or on campus. Okay. So after taking the placement testing, if applicable, then basically you can meet with a success coach. It's success coaches we actually have to help dual enrollments. They are exactly the same as academic advisors. They will help you with course selection and registration, and then you attend a dual enrollment orientation online and pay your bill online. So that's all there is to it. So thank you for spending your time with us today. If you have any questions on the admissions process at HAC, please use the chat or email us at start@hac.edu. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Abdurrahim. I'm not sure how many people caught you saying, how the heck do I start? But I have a lot of time for that, 11 hours into my workday. I appreciate that and the wordplay. All right, so moving on, I'm very happy to hand you over to Ms. Joni Klopp from Millersville.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm not sure I have any good tricks in my slide deck that Abdrahim have, so bear with me. But my name is Joni Klopp. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Recruitment here at Millersville University. I also like to share with families that I've spent my entire career in the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Ed. So I have worked for 2 other Pennsylvania State System schools of the 10 that we currently have. Really excited to be here at Millersville and working so closely with SDoL. So we'll jump right in here to kind of talk about our dual enrollment process at Millersville University. So to just get started, the majority of our classes are on campus. They're held on campus, specific days of the week, certain times of the day. We do have a few online as well as asynchronous opportunities for students. A lot of times our upperclassmen are picking these classes really early, and so sometimes it's a little more difficult to get those courses. And so I always like to tell students, if you are interested in dual enrollment at Millersville, most likely you will be attending those classes on campus. One thing that I really do love about our dual enrollment program is you can take almost anything you want. And so while students who are coming to Millersville are not necessarily required to declare a major, you do have the opportunity to explore some majors you may be interested in, or really just focus on those general education courses to start checking some boxes. And kind of like Phil and our other partners said, you are welcome to use your credits that you earn at Millersville, but they're also highly transferable. And so we have a lot of students who will join us just to start getting that college experience. And the majority of our students who are doing dual enrollment are focusing on some of those classes I listed below, which are more of those general education courses, your maths, your English classes. We do have some language opportunities, a lot of opportunities in the humanities, but then we also have some unique opportunities. For example, I have a student taking a safety class right now who's really interested in something in the 4-year world, but not quite sure what, who's exploring safety as a dual enrollment student. Again, I think all of our partners, as well as Phil, have outlined the benefits. There's a lot of perks to being a dual enrolled student. I always like to remind students and families, kind of like Phil started with, dual enrollment isn't for everyone, right? And so I like to remind families, if this feels really overwhelming and as a student, you're not quite sure you're ready to hop in, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And I think that's important to remember. This is an opportunity and not a requirement. And so definitely keep that in mind. But here at Millersville, it really gives you an opportunity to kind of try out, test drive college, be on a college campus, obviously get those credits, and it comes at a really incredible deal to you. And so as it relates to requirements, we're looking generally for college preparatory coursework in high school. So I have here listed our average GPA for dual enrollment students is roughly a 3.4. That said, we do consider students traditionally at a 3.0 or above. We're really looking at those core classes. We're ensuring completion at a higher level. And so we're making sure we really want students to have A's and B's in core classes. And when I mention core classes, we're really focusing in on your math skills, your English skills, your writing skills specifically. Depending on the classes you're interested in taking, we might look at a little bit more, right? And so I have a student who was interested in a higher level science, a 200 level science class. Well, it was important for me to see how that student has been progressing in their current science courses in high school. And so keep that in mind. At Millersville University, you are applying to the classes, not just dual enrollment. And so when you submit our application, you're actually choosing which classes you would like to ultimately enroll in. For the GPA, we're looking at a weighted GPA that would include everything that has been completed so far. So we're not necessarily rounding GPAs, but we are looking at a weighted grade point average. So that would include any honors work, of course, AP, IB, etc. Traditionally, our students are in a junior or senior level standing, as mentioned from some of our partners and Phil as well. We do have exceptions where we will allow sophomores to join us. Again, you start with your college counselor, your school counselor for those conversations, and then loop us in afterwards. As mentioned, the majority of our classes are on campus, so you will be required to have some form of transportation. One thing that's really great with Millersville is we are part of the Red Rose Transit System. And so as a Millersville student, we're going to talk about perks in a minute. You have access to the Route 16 bus that takes you from the Queen Street station to Millersville University, and that runs literally all day. A lot of our students, a lot of our McCaskey graduates use that to get to and from campus, and so that might be something of interest for you. to. You are also welcome to drive to campus. You would have to get a parking pass, but know that there's multiple ways of making your way to campus for your classes. So the application process is pretty simple for us as well. You're going to go online and complete a short form. There is no application fee, so we do not give you a fee waiver because it is free for everyone to apply for dual enrollment. And again, kind of like the other partners were saying, so important to plan ahead, right? And so right now, I'm starting a lot of conversations. This is a perfect timing for fall dual enrollment. Our application is about to open in a couple of weeks, right? And so this timing is really perfect as it relates for fall. But it's important that you apply the semester for us, the semester before you are looking to enroll. We do not have a heavy deadline. You will see recommended deadlines. And the one piece I'd always like to share with families as well is these are classes that are also open to our full-time students, okay? And so the longer we wait, the closer we get to the semester, the fewer classes are going to be available because we're filling those seats pretty quickly. And so I encourage students, as everyone else said, plan ahead, start thinking about, again, what you might want to explore, what kind of boxes you'd like to check to get some classes done, and be able to plan for that early in your application process. And in terms of cost, again, you guys have the best deal in Lancaster County as it relates to having dual enrollment classes, one in fall and one in spring covered. That is really special for SDoL families. And so as at Millersville University, any partner school, SDoL is a partner school, receives 50% off of the cost of tuition. And so I have a lot of numbers up here that you can take a peek or take a snapshot of. And so we have had some students who will do more than one class a semester. We traditionally limit students to no more than 3. I have had some students come in and take 4 or 5, depending on their situation. So I like to remind students that anything's possible. We just need to plan ahead and have the right conversations. But one thing I like to remind students is there are a few fees involved in our costs. SDoL covers those for students, but it's important to know the benefits you get with those fees as well, which I think I have on the next slide. I think I have, maybe. All right. So the one piece I have here that I wanted to point out, we treat you like a regular full-time student. And so that's one thing I always like to remind students and families is not only are you viewed as a regular college student, you're also treated and you get the benefits of a regular fully enrolled Millersville student. And so that means being able to access our career center. That means being able to use our tutoring. That means our success coaching. That's some perks with transportation, right? You can join clubs and organizations. And so we ask students to really see this opportunity as more than just class, right? This might be your opportunity to start to navigate what it is that you want in your college experience. I like to talk a lot about the right fit for students and really finding that love language. What is so special to you that's going to be your big pillar in your college search? Maybe you can start to explore that at Millersville, and maybe we don't have it, right? We hope we do, and we're what you're looking for, but it's a good opportunity to get on a 4-year campus, get your feet wet, and really start exploring. We do have a full orientation for dual enrollment students, and so we work hard to get you up and running on things like email, all of our platforms, and really getting you integrated fully into the Millersville community. And again, I'll throw my email address in the chat for everyone as well. Please feel free to be in touch with questions. As Megan shared, and I know that all the partners agree, there are no silly questions in this process. That is what we are here for. I cannot stress enough to talk to your college counselors. They're a huge part of your process, and let us know how we can assist. And thanks so much for being with us tonight.
All right, thank you so much, Joni. And then last but not least, we have Justin Phillips from PCAD. I will point out I offered these presenters in alphabetical order. There are no favorites. This was a purely scientific method that I used. So with no further ado, I'll hand you over to Justin from Pennsylvania College of Art and Design.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having us this evening. This is a great way to talk to the community about what we have to offer. So Pennsylvania College of Art and Design. My name is Justin Phillips. I'm the Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs at PCAD. I'm a PCAD graduate. I graduated in 2001, longtime faculty member. Now I'm at Academic Affairs, and I do work with dual enrollment partnerships throughout the county and the region. So one thing about Pennsylvania College of Art and Design is we understand that students have different kinds of needs and different kinds of, they're seeking flexibility as far as how they access these classes, whether it's modality, whether it's in person, during the daytime. We have evening classes. We also have classes on Saturdays. Some classes I'll go into explain later on, but also pathways for them to collect their skills and get college experience while they're still in high school, and start credentials while they're still in high school through dual enrollment. So we're really excited about our micro credentials that we offer, which are classes that go into our full certificate program, but I'll go into that once we get to that slide. But entryway into, actually, Phil, you can go to the next one. Undergraduate certificates. So we have certificates in data visualization, fashion merchandising, esports management, and all these credits that students can get while they're still in high school are stackable. They can transfer into our full degree programs, our BFA programs, certificate programs, the micro credentials, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then they can also transfer in other institutions that'll accept their credits. So we're really excited about how we are able to kind of use dual enrollment to give students an opportunity to access education, to get halfway through a certificate program while they're still in high school, and work towards gaining a full certificate. And if they eventually want to go to pursue a full associate or bachelor's degree, they'll be a little bit closer through dual enrollment. So next slide, please. You could also jumpstart your minor here at the college. So we have a whole variety of different minors, like business and creative industry, creative writing, art history, visual culture. So it gives students the opportunity to curate their education. So through dual enrollment, they have the opportunity to take some of these classes that can apply to their major, start to work towards that, work towards their minor. Next slide. Foundation courses. So traditionally with our dual enrollment, it's been the foundation level, which is our first year for our freshmen, and it's studio courses, but we've kind of expanded that, and we'll go into that with some of these further slides, but I wanted to go into some of the foundation courses, and a lot of these are on our campus here on Prince Street in downtown Lancaster. And there are classes with our professional faculty that are artists and designers out in the field, internationally recognized exhibiting artists and designers that have their own design studios. So we have drawing 1, the 2D design 1, 3D design, digital imaging, and digital media. Those typically go fall, and then narrative drawing and 2D design 2, and camera-based observation, which is a photo class, are in the spring semester. So these are studio courses. They are 3-credit classes. So a student would be here on campus for about 5 hours. And we do have a lot of McCaskey students that take advantage of these studio classes. Like Phil mentioned earlier, it works with their schedule. We've had some dual enrollment students actually almost complete their entire foundation year while they were still at McCaskey. So it's been a pretty great partnership, and we've been able to some students just recently graduated. We just had one graduate there at Millersville right now as an artist in residence. So, but they were a dual enrollment student at McCaskey before they graduated here at PCAD. Next slide. Liberal arts, we have our FVC, or Foundations of Verbal Communication, which is our kind of like our English course, foundation level. And then the spring we offer an FVC number 2. You can go to the next slide. We just entered a partnership with ALT, which is the Academy of Live Technology, which is based in England. And we have a partnership that's housed in a campus that's going to be opening up on Rock Lidditz in Lidditz. So we offer our Introduction to Live Experience Design class through dual enrollment. We currently have, I think in academic year 23 and 24, we've had 3 or 4 students take that class. So they're getting some exposure to live experience design as a major, and something to see if they're interested in pursuing further. Next slide. And this is where a lot of those micro-credentials come into play. And micro-credentials are a subset of a certificate program. So we have a variety of different certificate programs that are 18 credits. And through dual enrollment, students can actually get halfway through a certificate and earn a micro-credential while they're still in high school. So these are different classes that are offered in business and creative industry. So there's Introduction to Business 1 and 2, Accounting and Finance for non-majors, Business Math, Understanding Users, which is about user experience like web design, Principles of Marketing, and Entrepreneurship. So a student could potentially take 4 of these classes while they're still in high school and work towards a certificate, but definitely earn that micro-credential while they're still in dual enrollment. Next slide. Fashion merchandising. We have Introduction to Fashion Merchandising, Fashion Trend Forecasting, History of Costume and Fashion Industry, Retail Sustainability and Buying. This is taught by the chair of the business department, teaches a lot of these classes, but she has a whole slew of faculty that are in industry. They're working in the fashion industry. We have faculty that are all across the country. One thing I should mention about all these business classes, they're all online in an evening. So they start at 6:30 p.m. They end at 9. They meet 1 or 2 nights a week. And the students get, they have an opportunity to go to school throughout the day, and then they can take these courses at night. So next slide, please. Data visualization is another really popular one. So they can take a 101 and 102 is the Foundation of Information Design, Data Analytics Methodologies, which is data visualization is a really kind of cutting edge industry that people can merge science, art, and design to create visual kind of interpretations of data and statistics. So it's something that we all see throughout our days, whether it's in media or, the news. But we have a faculty member that's actually an alumni from PCAD that went on to earn his master's in data science. And he's worked for the UN, and now he works for a law firm in New York City, but he works remotely and teaches our classes here on Saturdays and sometimes during the week in the evening classes again. So next slide. Esports management. So, this is the business side of esports. So introduction to business. And once again, this is a micro-credential, but they can work their way towards getting a full certificate. So there's Introduction to Business 1 and 2, Accounting and Finance, Basic Business Math. And then you have your esports classes. So a student can take Introduction to Esports and esports events and gaming while they're still in school, while they're still in high school. So pretty awesome variety of different classes that we offer. And like I mentioned, all the business classes are evenings, online, and synchronous. So they get real live feedback and interaction with the faculty. Next slide. So how to apply. You can fill out your dual enrollment applications on pcad.edu. And there's a scroll down for admissions and dual enrollments in there. And you can ask your guidance counselor to fill out the counselor section of the request form and send it to admissions@pcad.edu with your official McCaskey transcripts. And PCAD's dual enrollment counselor will be in touch to schedule a brief interview. So with the more science classes and business classes, it's the portfolio is not necessary. But if you wanted to take one of the art classes, studio arts classes, you'll be showing a portfolio of 5 pieces during your interview. And yeah, so I think that's it for my slides. I'm gonna check the next one. So we're really excited to be able to offer dual enrollment to our community partners here, and excited to answer any questions. But my email address is jphillips@pcad.edu. And thank you, Phil, and thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Justin, and thank you to all of our presenters. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just so that I can kind of make sure there's anything in the Q&A I need to address. It looks like we're okay there. I think people have put things in the chat if they need to. We'll just take a few minutes here to look through and see if there are any questions. Yes, there is a dual enrollment section. So the question was, are all the school links available on the SDoL website? Yes, there is a dual enrollment section on the School District of Lancaster on the high school page. The Future Ready Center, the College and Career Services section has all this. In terms of my advice to any students or family on the call is have your student meet with their school counselor first and foremost. The school counselor is so important to so many aspects of a student's high school career, but certainly with dual enrollment, because they're also helping schedule that student for the upcoming school year. They are the first person to meet with. The team that I supervise, the Future Ready team, is also available. Our college and career advisors and college and career specialists will also help through the application process, and any other things that arise, help with sending transcripts, etc. But start with the school counselor, and there is some information on the school district website. Question: what are the acceptance rates for dual enrollment applicants? I would say as long as the student meets the requirements in terms of GPA and can fit it in their schedule, I mean, a student will be accepted. It's then a case of finding the right fit, finding the course that works for them, and finding the class they're interested in that meets their schedule. Question: can students play sports at McCaskey and be in all dual enrollment courses? Is there a PIAA requirement for courses on site? I would have to confirm that with our athletics department. I don't know that we've had a student take entirely online courses and not have a single campus class on their schedule, but I will find out, and I will try and get an answer to you, probably via email about that once I speak to the athletics department. We did have some other college partners invited to present tonight who were not available to present. So we're thankful for the 5 partners that we did have. Just hang out for one more minute here and see if there's any other questions. Thank you to all of you for taking the time to learn. I hope this was informational. The one thing that I will sort of come back to as we leave is, if you noticed on each of our college partners slides, there was, you know, the cost of the class and then that nice big old asterisk, and it says, but for McCaskey, it's free. So again, we are truly proud of being the only district that pays for students to take college classes. There is no income restriction on that either. Any student at McCaskey, it will be paid for regardless of household income, etc. So with that, we will close this out and say thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you to our panelists, our presenters from our colleges. Thank you for those of you who are attending. And hopefully we will be able to welcome more and more of you to start taking some college classes as you work your way through high school and help you figure out what's going to come next after high school. So thank you again, everybody. Have a wonderful evening and take care.